All right, let's take a trip back in time, but I want you to forget everything you think you know about a classic Victorian Christmas. No carols, no picturesque, snowy villages. We're going to a Christmas you had to survive. That really says it all, doesn't it? Because when the world is biting cold and your stomach is aching with hunger, the holiday isn't about gifts. It's just about making it to the next day. So our story starts right here in London, 1850. This is the wealthiest, most powerful city on the planet. But we're not going to see it that way. We're going to see it through the eyes of a 9-year-old boy named William, who's never seen a single drop of that wealth. For William, Christmas Eve doesn't kick off with excitement and wonder. Nope, it starts with the cold. And I want you to really feel this. This is his world. It's not so much a room as it is a damp, frigid cell he shares with his mom and his sister. The fire went out hours ago. The mattress is basically just a sack with straw poking out, and the air is so cold you can see your own breath. This is his reality. So to keep his family alive, this 9-year-old has a job. He's a crossing sweeper. And what is that? Well, his job is to carve a clean path through all the muck and horse manure on the street so that wealthy people don't get their nice boots dirty. The whole point is to look as pathetic as possible because that's what gets you paid. You're probably asking yourself, why on earth would anyone do that? Why stand in the freezing mud all day begging for pennies? Because the only other choice is a place so terrifying people only spoke its name in whispers. The workhouse. Let's be clear, this was not a home. It was a prison for the poor. And it's the one place William has promised himself he will never let his family end up. Because the moment you stepped inside those gates, your family was ripped apart. Men from women, parents from their own children. You were forced into this awful, mind-numbing labor, fed this watery gruel so disgusting that people were actually caught eating rotting bones meant to be used as fertilizer. That's the terror that drives William into the cold every morning. So on Christmas Eve, William takes a little break from his corner to look at the markets. And it's right here that the two Londons, the city of the rich and the city of the poor, smash into each other in the most heartbreaking way. For a starving kid, the market is a full-on assault on the senses. He's completely surrounded by the smell of hot pies and roasting chestnuts, the sight of food just piled high everywhere, the sound of people laughing and celebrating. He feels a hunger that's deeper than just in his stomach. It's in his soul. He just wants a tiny piece of all this warmth and joy. Now, to really get what William is saying, you need to know this number. 4 shillings. That's what his mother brings home after 6 days a week of doing laundry, her hands completely raw and bleeding from the harsh soap. 4 shillings. That's everything they have for rent, for heat, for food. And then he sees it. A woman buys a Christmas goose and doesn't even blink at the price. 4 shillings and 6 pence. More than his mother makes in an entire week. A single meal for one family costs more than a whole week of survival for his. The gap between their worlds is just absolute. On his way back, he passes by the tall, clean houses of the West End, and he looks through a window and sees a scene from another universe. There's a family inside, warmed by a huge fire. They have a Christmas tree, that new German tradition that Queen Victoria made so popular, and it's just loaded with presents. He's literally on the outside looking in on a life he can't even imagine. But you know what? This isn't just a story about misery, because even in the most hopeless situations, the Christmas spirit, it finds a way. And not through some grand gesture, but through small, really powerful acts of kindness. Christmas dinner for William's family is a single orange. It was a reject from a grocer, too small to even sell. But for them, it's an absolute treasure. It's a taste of sunshine in the dead of winter. It's a luxury, and they share it so carefully, split into 9 perfect little segments. On Christmas Day, something amazing happens. The poorest folks in his building, they create their own feast. Everybody pools the tiny little bit of food they have, some stale bread, watery soup, a few potatoes, and they put it all together on an old crate. Somebody plays a broken fiddle, and these strangers start to dance and share a meal, creating their own warmth around a fire burning in a barrel. And that spirit of giving just starts to build. After that community meal on Christmas, the next day, Boxing Day, brings 2 encounters that are going to change everything for William. Okay, this is the climax of the story. In just one afternoon, William discovers a completely different kind of wealth, one that has absolutely nothing to do with the fancy houses he's been looking into. So first, a young servant girl, Mary, who has very little herself, gives him a sixpence, which is a fortune, just for helping her across the muddy street. Then, a wealthy gentleman gives him a gold sovereign, a whole pound, and doesn't say a word about pity, just tells him to go home and be with his family. So in one single day, William brings home over a pound. It's an unimaginable amount of money. This isn't just for one meal. This is security. This is the rent paid for months. It's coal for the fire. It is, quite simply, the gift of survival. And can you just picture the moment he hands that money to his mother? She doesn't just see coins. She sees a future. Her tears aren't tears of sadness. They're tears of this overwhelming, unbelievable relief. The threat of the workhouse is finally gone. And that's really the heart of it all. Survival didn't come from some miracle out of the sky. It came from the community feast, from a servant girl sharing her small holiday bonus, from a stranger's quiet generosity. It was just people, in the darkest of times, choosing to actually see and help each other. And so that leaves us with this question. The Victorians built this world of incredible wealth with amazing things like the Crystal Palace. But William's story suggests that maybe real wealth looks a lot different. Maybe it looks like a shared orange, or a sixpence from a servant, or a fire in a barrel surrounded by neighbors. Maybe it's not about what you have, but about what you're willing to give.